It is my absolute pleasure. We're moving to the final stages of Visions 2024. In just a second, I'm going to introduce my friend Kenyetta here to the stage. She is our closing speaker. She is another powerhouse from our community that I'm so excited for you all to get to meet if you don't know her. Kenyetta McCurdy-Byrd was diagnosed with Stargardt disease when she was 31 years old and has dedicated over 25 years to building organizations that empower people and drive extraordinary results. There's many examples throughout her career of making impact, and she's been recognized both in Delaware and nationally for her impact, but one of which is her leadership at a project called the West End Neighborhood House, where she served for over 22 years and established education and employment programs that remain a community model recognized across the country today. She's currently the Chief Operating Officer for REACH, Riverside Development Corporation in Wilmington, Delaware, where she champions diversity, equity, and inclusion, and breaking workplace barriers. And I think you're all going to enjoy getting to know her, and I'd like to welcome her to the stage. Please help me welcome Kenyetta to the stage.
Thank you. Can you all hear me? Yes. Good afternoon. I need some energy. Good afternoon. Wow. So, for those who do not see me or do not see me clearly, I am an African-American female, 5'2", and absolutely stunning. Take my word for it. So before I continue, I do have a housekeeping item. So no, it's not about the bathrooms. The last 2 days, I think many of us managed to make it to and from pretty successfully. So the housekeeping item is this. It's very simple. It's crowd participation. So when I say something that sounds like I'm trying to be funny, take it that I want you to clap. Okay? So, I'm super excited because I am truly with my family. I can get up here with my font 52 and flaunt across this stage. So I am really excited. Visions 2024 conference has been amazing, off the chain, incredible. The insights, the inspiring stories, the connections, and the resources from the last 2 days have been truly transformative. We've explored groundbreaking technology, emerging research, clinical trials, genetic testing, eye health and nutrition, and mental health and wellness. I'd like to say kudos to everyone, each and every one of you, in person and streaming with us. I'd like to also thank the researchers, the scientists, the award recipients, all the speakers and panelists for your work around fighting blindness. With that being said, we're not just fighting blindness, we are building community. And we have a very strong and resilient community. And so we want to show everyone who we are, be proud of who we are. And if I had a theme song, it would be by Diana Ross, I'm Coming Out. So often we get a little prideful. We hide behind things. We're afraid to lose our jobs. We're afraid people aren't going to take us seriously. But we are who we are, and we have been blessed with what we have. So as we wrap up this inspiring conference, I'd like to take you on a journey with me. So join me as I share my story about living with Stargardt disease, a rare genetic disorder causing progressive vision loss. I believe that my story embodies the spirit of our collective learning and our discovery over the last 2 days. In 2024, I took the day off to hang out with my mother, thinking that we could make a really quick stop for a routine eye exam before heading to the spa, our favorite pastime. Mom was in and out Yay, I thought to myself, we're going to be on schedule. But then it was my turn, and things took a wild turn. The doctor was unable to get my vision to 20/20 with corrective lenses. Needless to say, I was on a fast track to see a retinal specialist, who put me through a battery of tests and then dropped the bombshell. Boom! You've got Stargardt disease, Kenyetta. Suddenly, that doctor's demeanor just did a 180. He left me with more questions than answers. Wait a minute. Did I miss something? Is there any literature on this Stargardt disease? Support groups? A second opinion, perhaps? Does this disease lead to blindness? So, when you're giving that information, you're just sitting there. I was shocked. I was 31, almost 31 years old. I was a newlywed, a new homeowner, juggling a demanding career. And I had, what he said was basically a messed up macula. Okay, we got all these scientists and stuff. Forgive me, pardon the slang. I should have said I had deteriorated photoreceptor cells in the central portion of my retina. But things were messed up as I knew it. I was faced with a disease that I knew nothing about, except that I did not cause that disease. It just happened. So the life that I knew was about to drastically change forever. Then shortly thereafter, I went to DMV, took the eye test. Well, at least I tried to take the eye test. I failed. They took my driver's license, and the harsh reality of having Stargardt came into focus. Facing an uncertain future with a condition beyond my control, I really didn't know what to do. So I took a deep dive into what I refer to as a relentless pursuit of knowledge and treatments and coping mechanisms. It was amazing to read about the things that I was experiencing. The inability to follow a ball at a game, the inability to discern faces, but yet I can spot a speck of lint on someone's shoulder across the room. And then there's the thing with, hey, light sensitivity. I hear many people, oh my gosh, these lights are blinding me. And so you're faced with constant challenges. So I had to become this proactive advocate for myself. So what did I do? I participated in clinical trials, genetic testing and counseling, even beta testing, because the devices are not that attractive. And when you're 31 years old, I still wanted to look cute, but I wanted to see better. So I got involved as deeply as I could. I connected with organizations like Foundation Fighting Blindness so that I could stay in the know about the latest research and meet others living with Stargardt. I established lots of relationships with experts at various eye institutes. Wilmer Eye Institute at Johns Hopkins, shout out to Judith Goldstein, Wills Eye Hospital, and the National Eye Institute. So from Philly to Bethesda, I was a groupie. Most people follow rock stars. I follow researchers and scientists. So, thank you. You guys did really well. You get a C for your crowd participation. We got to amp that up. So, as I was traveling, I'm soaking up all this information like a sponge, but I'm also collecting more eyewear than a Hollywood star, more gadgets than military personnel. I started with one pair of glasses, and then that morphed into an arsenal of devices. So I have reading glasses, sunglasses, my daily activity glasses, a monocular, binoculars, a handheld magnifier, and amber tinted contact lenses like high performance athletes use to filter out the UV and blue light. So if that's not enough, I got Zoom Tech software for you. Zoom text software magnifies everything on my screen to billboard size. So I'm in a fishbowl and everybody's looking. My employees would say, one said one day, "Oh, Kenyetta, I didn't know my performance appraisal was coming up." I don't remember having that conversation with her. I was early in doing it, but the point was she could see it down the hallway. So I had to reconfigure my office. So if I had to give a disclaimer for Zoom text, I would say nothing is confidential with Zoom text. Oh, and switching from one visual aid to the next to complete one task is like my daily fashion show, with each visual aid serving as an accessory as I strut the runway of daily living. With that, does anybody understand that? Like, it's pretty crazy. So we recognize and we've heard that no one device meets every need. And there's value in all of these devices because we can't navigate the world without them. But at least for me, it's frustrating and overwhelming as hell sometimes. So reclaiming my independence was not easy. But I will tell you this, that when I passed the road test, because I was determined to drive, when I passed the road test with my bioptic telescope, a world of possibilities opened up for me. So summer with the extended daylight hours, that is my season of liberation. I can drive till 9 p.m. feeling like a true grown-up. So there's no Uber or Lyft needed during the summer. So I heard the word freedom. I have freedom during the summer. Anybody understand that? Losing that driver's license, wanting to drive again. So the road is tough, with every day giving me new challenges and frustrations. For example, mistaking a friend for a stranger, or even a stranger for a friend, and not singing well enough if you are smiling, yawning, or even falling asleep. So it makes public speaking pretty easy. The trials and triumphs of living with Stargardt have taught me many things, but the most powerful lesson is to tell your story. To tell your story. By doing so, we break down barriers, and we show people that our disability does not define us. It just gives us some interesting stories to share. I've heard some from Russell that I met last night and Jesse that I met 2 days ago. So, boy, do we have some hilarious stories to share. It's also taught me resilience, creativity, and that you can't always trust what you see. Why do I say that? Because sight once dominated my perception. But oh, how I've learned that sight is a function of the eye, but vision is in the mind's eye. That's where the imagination and the planning and the concepts live. So sight goes beyond your experience, your present. It gives you hope, it gives you direction, and a sense of purpose. So remember this, great vision does not require great sight. Great vision does not require great sight. And that's a quote by yours truly. So, we've engaged in some workshops together. You've heard my story, and I thank you for listening and your crowd participation. But what's our call to action? Information is powerful, but it's action that brings about change. So, if you're wondering how you can make a real impact, there are 3 simple steps. Share, support, and get involved. Share, support, get involved. Oh, I feel rhythm. Share, support, get involved. So with share, support, get involved. Share, support, and get involved. Okay, very simple. I like that. That worked pretty well for a first time. So share, tell your story. Share updates and news from Foundation Fighting Blindness. Discuss how this conference has impacted or touched your life, and post your insights using our official hashtags. Post, use our social media. Support, raise and or donate. And get involved, join your local chapter, participate in a clinical trial, and advocate for vision research. In conclusion, I'd like to give a big shout out to my support system, my parents, Tony and Anthony McCurdy, my husband, Antonio Byrd, the silent hero behind the camera, chronicling everything that I do. You probably met him somewhere all over the place, introducing himself. And then I also like to thank Tanisha Thomas, who is my colleague and travel buddy. I really appreciate everything that you do for me. And I would be remiss in not thanking my colleagues of the work group, WRK, the Warehouse, Reach Riverside, and Kingswood Community Center, located in Wilmington, Delaware. Yes, just a shameless plug, you can look us up, workgroup.org. But what we focus on is affordable housing, education, workforce development, youth engagement, community health and wellness. And that organization is led by our CEO, Logan Herring. I'm just going to pause for a minute and just say that together we can push boundaries, challenge the status quo, and make our vision a reality in the fight against blinding diseases. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Foundation Fighting Blindness. I will see you all at the next event. And remember, share, support, get involved. Share, support, get involved.
Yeah, how great was that? That was fantastic. I share, support, and get involved. Listen, I didn't have quite as much, like maybe rhythm to that, but I could probably do it better, but that's all right. That message is so perfect. And I said it yesterday, I'm going to repeat it here today. The feeling you have right now, the connectedness that you have right now does not need to disappear when you get in the car to go home or you fly home. Stay connected with the community through social media, join a chapter, get engaged. We have chapters all over the country. We have chapters all over the world now with our first chapter in the UK. And so if there's one thing that I really, really want to emphasize is how important it is to stay connected, not just once every 2 years when we have visions.